Granted, Showtime may have lost a little bit of money on this fight alone, but 550,000 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys is not bad for Mayweather versus Berto. So I'll repeat, the rumor is, it's not official, of course we'll likely never get official numbers, is that Mayweather versus Berto sold 550,000 plus in pay-per-view buys, somewhere around 550 to 600K. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with RealCombatMedia.com, and I cover every single major fight live. Now, when you look at Floyd Mayweather's 6-fight Showtime deal, he signed for a guaranteed $230 million plus. That contract has made over $800 million in revenue. Floyd Mayweather has walked away in revenue with about 500 plus or $600 million since he's been signed with Showtime. Now, when you look at the grand scheme of things, people are going to say things like, well, Showtime don't care about losing money on that pay-per-view because they made all this money from Floyd. That is not entirely true. I don't care who you are. You're not going to just be like, well, I'm just going to lose this money on this fight. You know, it's cool. Nah. But at the same time, Floyd Mayweather has generated so much. For example, with the Showtime contract, he has broken 2 pay-per-view buy records, with pay-per-view sale records, with the Canelo fight, and of course with the Manny Pacquiao fight. But with the Andre Berto fight, honestly, I thought that it would maybe do around 500,000, which it did. It still did better than Pacquiao versus Algieri and Pacquiao versus Rios, if I'm correct. How much did Pacquiao versus Rios do? But long story short, I think it was like 450. But long story short, the pay-per-view actually did, you know, above expectations in some people's, you know, eyes. Now, when you look at the fact that they wasn't doing well with ticket sales, there are rumors that a certain amount of tickets in the thousands were given out, and basically they may have lost. Put it this way. Mayweather versus Berto, if it wasn't for this Showtime contract, and as much Mayweather for as much as Mayweather has generated in that Showtime contract, Mayweather versus Berto was a flop. It was a dud when it comes to ticket sales, when it comes to pay-per-view buys. Floyd Mayweather made a guaranteed $32 million, and you got Berto making $4 million, which realistically leaves only, when it comes to pay-per-view, really leaves only, you know, maybe less than $10 million realistically for Showtime. Less than $10 million, no, less than $5 million for Showtime to receive, you know, on the back end of things. But when you look at the grand scheme, as I said, that Showtime contract Floyd has been in has generated so much money to the point where I don't think he cares that this didn't do, you know, the buys that he probably thought it was going to do. And one thing I'm confused about is, did they really believe that Floyd Mayweather could be able to sell 1 million buys by fighting Andre Berto? I want to know, the deeper question I have is, I want to know if it's just some Showtime executives or it's Floyd Mayweather's team, Mayweather Promotions, thought that they actually were going to have a successful fight financially by fighting Andre Berto. But to each his own, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm surprised 500,000 plus people brought that farce. But, you know, as I said, I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with RealCombatMedia.com. I cover every single major fight live. And as I said, it may, like for Floyd Mayweather standards, it's a flop. And do I believe he should go out and end his career on that low note, you know, with fighting a low caliber opponent like Andre Berto, you know, fighting, you know, with these low numbers? I don't think so. But what I will say is this. I will say that Floyd Mayweather, when it comes to the Showtime contract, they exceeded expectations, especially with that Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Now, when you look at the Showtime contract in a whole, for example, Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero, it is said that Showtime didn't get the money they were expecting to get from that. When it comes to Mayweather versus Maidana 1, Showtime didn't get the return they expected on that from what we're hearing. When it comes to Mayweather versus Maidana 2, even though it did better than Mayweather versus Maidana 1, Showtime didn't get what they expected. But when it comes to Mayweather versus Canelo and Mayweather versus Pacquiao, he generated, what, 600 million just off of those 2 fights alone. You know, and the contract was only for 230. So, you know, you have to think, well, how are you looking at this situation? But like I said, I actually think it's a success. 550,000 plus pay-per-view buys. To me, it looks like it's a situation where, you know, I mean, he took a nothing opponent in Andre Berto. Not saying that he's nothing, but he actually turned it into a little bit of something. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with RealCombatMedia.com, and I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.